Have you ever thought about the importance of protecting bootloaders and information security? In the digital age, cybersecurity is like the sturdy lock on our front doors, keeping our valuable assets safe from prying eyes. But what if the key to that lock was left unprotected? That's where the role of bootloaders comes into play in the grand scheme of information security. Bootloaders, as humble as they may seem, are the gatekeepers of your operating system. They're the first software program that runs when your computer starts up, deciding what gets loaded and when. Just like a key, they can unlock access to your entire system. Now imagine the havoc if someone with malicious intent gets their hands on this key. So, the importance of protecting bootloaders, it's paramount to maintaining the integrity of your system, and by extension, your data. Let's delve deeper into the world of bootloaders and system security. To understand the importance of protecting bootloaders, we first need to comprehend what a bootloader is. Imagine the bootloader as the gatekeeper or the bouncer of your computer system. It's the first piece of code that runs when you power on your system, but it's not just about being first in line. The bootloader has a very crucial job to do. It's responsible for loading the operating system into the computer's memory so that all other software can run. Let's break it down a bit. When you turn on your computer, the system's BIOS or UEFI, which are types of firmware, perform some initial hardware checks. Once these checks are complete, control is handed over to the bootloader. This software then kicks into gear, loading the operating system from the hard drive, SSD, or another storage device into the system's RAM. Think of the bootloader like a relay runner. The BIOS or UEFI hands the baton, or in this case, the control of the system to the bootloader. The bootloader then sprints off, carrying this control to the finish line, the operating system. But the bootloader isn't just a runner, it's also a defender. It forms the first line of defense in system security, ensuring that only authorized and uncorrupted operating systems are loaded. This is especially important in preventing malware, such as rootkits, which can embed themselves deep into the system startup process, often going undetected by standard antivirus software. So, the bootloader is a bit of a superhero. It's the Flash, with its speed and agility in loading the operating system, and it's also Superman, with its strength and resilience in protecting the system from threats. In the realm of cybersecurity, understanding the bootloader's function and importance is crucial. It's not just about knowing how your computer starts up. It's also about understanding how to protect your system from the ground up. So, as you can see, bootloaders play a critical role in system startup and security. Now that we understand what a bootloader is, let's explore its role in system security more thoroughly. A bootloader is much more than just a program that loads an operating system. It's like the first line of defense in a castle, the gatekeeper that stands between your system and potential threats. One of the most critical roles it plays in system security is verifying the integrity of system software. Here's how it works. When your system boots up, the bootloader checks the digital signatures of the operating system and other software. It's like a bouncer at a nightclub, checking IDs to ensure everyone who enters is who they claim to be. If the software's digital signature doesn't match the expected one, the bootloader won't allow it to load. This process ensures that no tampered or malicious software gets access to your system. In addition to verifying software integrity, bootloaders also help prevent unauthorized modifications to your system. They can enforce secure boot protocols, which only allow software with trusted signatures to run. This means that even if a clever hacker tries to sneak in malicious software, the bootloader acts as a vigilant guard, refusing to let the rogue software pass. Moreover, bootloaders can also provide protection against rootkits, a type of malware that can take control of your system at the most basic level. By implementing secure boot protocols, bootloaders can prevent such threats from taking root and causing havoc. And lastly, bootloaders can support full disk encryption. This means that even if your physical device gets stolen, the thief won't be able to access your data without the decryption key. It's like having a safety deposit box that only you can open. Therefore, protecting our bootloaders is an essential part of maintaining our system's security. They serve as our system's gatekeeper, checking the credentials of every piece of software that tries to run on our system and refusing entry to any that can't prove their trustworthiness. So, let's give our bootloaders the attention they deserve and ensure that our system's first line of defense is as strong as it can be. So, what happens if we don't prioritize the protection of our bootloaders? Well, imagine you've left your front door unlocked in a neighborhood known for break-ins. Not a comforting thought, is it? This is exactly what it's like when bootloaders are left unprotected. First off, we expose our systems to vulnerabilities. Bootloaders are the gatekeepers of our system's startup process, and without adequate protection, they become an open invitation for cyber threats. Malware, for instance, can exploit these vulnerabilities, tampering with the bootloading process and injecting malicious code. Secondly, there's the risk of unauthorized access. Just as a burglar can walk right into an unlocked house, hackers can easily sneak into an unprotected system. They can modify your bootloader to bypass security checks, gaining control over your system even before your operating system has a chance to boot up. This means they could potentially access, alter, or even delete your data without your knowledge. Furthermore, unprotected bootloaders can lead to system failures. A compromised bootloader could cause a system to crash during the startup process or prevent it from booting up altogether. Imagine trying to start your car only to find out the ignition system has been tampered with. That's how critical a bootloader is to a system. And if you think the consequences end at your personal computer or smartphone, think again. In a world increasingly reliant on digital infrastructure, an unprotected bootloader can spell disaster on a much larger scale. Picture a power grid, a hospital's digital system, or a city's traffic control system compromised due to an unprotected bootloader. The potential for large-scale disruption is real and significant. So it's not an exaggeration to say that neglecting the security of bootloaders is akin to playing with fire. It's a game where the stakes are high and the potential losses even higher. As you can see, neglecting the security of our bootloaders can lead to serious repercussions for our entire system.